Sometimes you see things on the internet and you just have to have them. And one of those things is a t-shirt from Teach, Create, Motivate. So I saw it online and I was like, oh my gosh, I want that. Only to discover that I had missed the launch by a couple of days and she was not selling them anymore. So my heart was broken. And then I found out that she was launching them again. So I spent more money than I would ever have wanted to actually spend on a t-shirt. And I bought it. And it's here. So I'm gonna open it and probably put it on. All right, I got one of the free stickers too, so that's exciting. And here's all of her information if you decide you need one too. Guys, it's the one that says Teach and it has a flare pen, and I'm so excited. Yeah, I definitely just changed in the parking lot on this road where people were driving past, but I had to put it on. I'm so excited. Ah! Yay. Okay, now to the actual substance of this video. All right, hello and welcome to the chaos that is my happy place, my classroom. My name is Brittany. I am a second grade teacher in Utah. This will be my 4th year teaching second grade, my 3rd year here at this school and in the same classroom actually. So classroom setup looks very different for me than for many people. But I today wanted to just share with you a couple of things that I've learned. More like personal opinions about setting up a classroom. I've been watching a lot of classroom setup videos recently, and I just have these things that I feel like I just need to say because I know that there's somebody out there, you, like me, who when I first set up my classroom was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know. And everybody was doing all these things and I just was overwhelmed. So I have 5 tips to share with you about setting up your classroom, tips / opinions / thoughts. And that's what I'm going to show you today. All right, tip number 1, do not under any circumstances buy everything brand new. I know, I do this too. It looks better if it's new. It's my thing that I chose. Of course I should buy it new. Don't do it, okay? You work with children, things will get destroyed. That's the first reason why you should not buy things new. And second of all, can you imagine furnishing this entire place? That's a lot of dollars, and I don't got that kind of dollars, okay? So don't buy everything new. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white bookshelves. I purchased, I think, 3 of them. Most of these were ones that were left in the classroom or being surplus by other teachers. This one is put together wrong. I'm not sure if that's always been that way or if that's upside down. I also just noticed that this one has like a huge chunk out the side of it because it's old. The moral of the story is, look at how nice these all look. And I did not buy all of those. So use what you can find and then fill in what you need to. The other hint with buying things new is the Dollar Tree is your best friend. Do you see how happy and color-coded these little bookshelves are? Dollar Tree, my friends. $1, $2, $3, $4, done. If you can't find it at the Dollar Tree, you should probably rethink your plan. That's just like my personal opinion. You should not be spending hundreds and thousands of dollars to start up a classroom. First of all, the children don't care that much. I'm so sorry to have to say it, but they don't. They don't care if everything is the exact same colors or if you have fake plants or twinkle lights. They don't care. But your wallet will care, so tone it down. That actually leads into tip number 2, which is you do not have to follow trends, okay? You're gonna go watch a bunch of setup vlogs and you're gonna get on Instagram and you're gonna get on Facebook and you're gonna see teachers everywhere doing certain things. Right now, the Better Than Bulletin paper in shiplap covering every surface in your classroom is the thing to do. You don't have to do that, okay? If you want to spend the money and the time and that makes your heart happy, go ahead. You need to adopt like a Marie Kondo feeling here. Do what makes you happy. Just because the internet is doing it does not mean you have to do it in order to be a good teacher. Right now, I'm giving you permission for you to do you. Here is one example of where I took an idea from the internet and made it my own. Everybody everywhere has a teacher toolbox and they're really cute, but they have so many little tiny drawers and I just didn't feel like that was practical. So I went and bought these other drawers. So I took the idea and made it a practical application for myself. So I'm like other teachers, but I didn't just do it just because that's what everybody did. However, there are some things on the teacher internet that you should definitely do. This is the one. These Walmart photo cases are the greatest thing to ever happen to math centers and word games. If you have little games that have little pieces, you need these. These are the greatest. They're always on sale right now. They're $15. They have 16 little containers in them. You can get the colorful ones or the white ones. I'm actually headed to Michael's to buy 2 more of them for my math flashcards. They are amazing. Tip number trace 3, do not over decorate. It's okay to leave some blank space and keep it simple. As a student, I hated the classrooms where teachers had 1,065 posters up on the walls because you're just like, you can't focus. And that's actually something that science has backed up, that the fewer stimuli you have, the better your students tend to do. But please do not over decorate for the love of your poor little children's and for the love of your wallet and your sanity. Keep it simple. Tip for keeping it simple. You don't have to put backing on every wall space you use. These are literally just hanging on the wall. They're also handwritten. I could totally update and redo those, but it works and it's fine and the kids don't mind, and so I let it be because there are other things that are more important for me to work on. Tip number 4 is from my mother, who reminds me of this every time I'm working on school stuff in her presence. Do not get so caught up in the cute that you forget the functional. And this applies to a couple of things. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First of all, one of the letters fell down, but pay nice is good too. I'm not mad about that. Fonts. There are so many cute fonts. I love the cute fonts. In fact, there are some things that I have redone entirely in my classroom just because I decided I liked a different font better. So, be a font snob if you want to. But be careful which fonts you choose because you are teaching young children, and these young children are learning how to write. And if you want them to form letters correctly, you need to make sure that the letters you are displaying to them are accurate. So if I choose a font that's got mixed capitals and uppercases, or it's impossible to tell the A and the O apart, that's not going to be very helpful to them. So make sure when you're using the fonts, you're not just thinking about you and it's cute. Make sure it's accurate to what you're trying to teach them. So that's example number 1 of cute versus functional. I think class libraries are another excellent example of cute versus functional. You'll see that most lower grade classrooms have their libraries in buckets like this. It looks cute, but I also feel like this is a very functional thing because then kids don't have to carefully put the books back on the shelves. They just chuck them in the bucket. It's much more contained. Another thing that we have to talk about when we talk about functionality is Teachers Pay Teachers. Bless whoever invented that site. It is an incredible resource for teachers everywhere, and I love TPT. Love TPT. Be careful that when you're buying things on Teachers Pay Teachers that you're really considering, is it actually going to be functional in your classroom? Be very careful that when you purchase something, you're purchasing it for a specific purpose. I would write down the product you're thinking about getting or put it on your wish list so that when that subject comes up again and you're actually going to teach it, you can go and buy it as you need it. Instead of buying things in advance of needing them, buy them as you need them. That goes with a lot of classroom supplies too. Everybody wants to have a stash of Astro Brights and construction paper. Just buy it as you need it because you might find out later that your school provides that stuff or that your teammate has an insanely large stash of construction paper and cardstock and is more than happy to share with you, and now you don't need to spend your own money on it. As much as possible, wait to buy it until you actually need it. And then my second thought with Teachers Pay Teachers, and this is actually tip number 5, you can make it yourself. So there's this beautiful place called PowerPoint where if you learn a few tricks, you can actually make most of those resources yourself. And I want to be careful how I say this because I am not suggesting that you go on Teachers Pay Teachers and rip off teachers and steal their work. However, I am suggesting that if you see a good idea and it's 1 page in a product that you need, instead of purchasing the whole product and not using all the stuff, you can take the idea and reformat it and make it your own. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I swear I've talked about this about 1,000,000 times, so I'm sorry if this is repetition for you, but these are my job crews. This is how I assign my class jobs, and this idea is from School in the City. I will put her information in the description so you can go check out her stuff. She sells this project on TPT. However, when I was looking at the preview of the product, there were a lot of things about it that I already knew I was going to have to change and adjust and do differently just because of the way that I planned to use it in my classroom. Now, the concept itself is still exactly the same. I have the tasks and then the numbers where I circle who in the class is on that crew for that time period. I've still got the same titles. In fact, I have a lot of the same titles as she does because I liked those titles. I did take her idea and make it my own. I took the exact idea and I went onto PowerPoint and I created these and I printed them out. They are not the exact same as hers, but they're pretty dang close. However, I am not selling these for a profit. I'm not taking her idea and turning around and trying to make money off of it. That is so not okay. Do not do that. These people work really hard on this stuff, and for you to take their idea and repurpose it as your own and then make money off of it, That's inappropriate. Don't do that. However, I didn't need everything that was in her product, and I already knew I was going to have to make a bunch of changes, so it made more sense to just do it on my own rather than pay money to then do it on my own. If you would like to see how to make those kinds of things, those posters, the phonics posters that I'll show you later on, the writing board that I made, any of that stuff that I make on my own, if you want to see how to do that, I'd be more than happy to show you how to use some of those tools on PowerPoint to make it your own. But I guess the moral of that story is you do not have to buy everything just because it's there. You can make your own stuff using ideas that you found and save yourself money. Maybe not time, but definitely money. And those are my 5 tips for classroom setup for first-year teachers, 17-year teachers. Just like, this is all about you and your classroom, what makes you happy. And you don't have to meet any sort of expectations that the rest of the internet has. I do not have any Vines or Twinkle Lights or Shiplap, and I'm still doing just fine. But actually, I'm not doing just fine because now I'm supposed to address the desks. And in case you missed the memo, 2020 is not a good year for children's desks. All right, I'm sitting on my beanbag throne because it's nice to sit here while I look at the catastrophe that is. So our district, as far as regulations goes, kids are coming back to school in person. Families have the option to choose an online instruction that's being put together by the district and managed by classroom teachers. So our schedule lost an hour at the end of the day, so the kids that are coming in person will leave on our early out schedule. We had an early out schedule on Monday. We'll now have that every day of the week, and in that remaining hour, classroom teachers will be checking in with students who are doing online work. Students who do come to school will be in masks. That's a state mandate. I will also be wearing a mask because I'm alone in my classroom right now. I'm not wearing a mask, but we'll all be wearing masks, and all of their desks are supposed to be facing forward. Because it is absolutely impossible to get 6 feet apart with the number of kids that we will have in our classroom, that is not a mandate. However, as much distance as we can put is good. So I kind of get to decide how I want to set my desks up, the only stipulation being that all kids need to be facing forward. So normally I have them in tables where they're facing each other, but that's not going to work. And I need to somehow fit 28 desks in this room without it becoming excessively crowded, and with trying to maintain some semblance of like we can move around the classroom. It's so fun. I'm so excited. What a puzzle, yay for grit and stick-to-itiveness and stuff like that. Critical thinking skills, yay. Okay, here we go. Good news, I have found a task to distract me so I don't have to do the desks. So we've been using this program called Extra Math, so when kids pass levels off, I hung a little picture of them up here, but we are probably not going to use it just because we don't have the time. So I'm going to change it to just say Math Champions, which means I have to take the top part off and re-put on math or put it here so it's longer. And then I also need to change this from Pay Nice, even though I'd love to be paid nice, to Play Nice. So I'm going to have to put that letter up as well. So I'm going to do those 2 distraction items instead of the desks. Look how dusty it is at first. It's not my greatest work of all time, but it's enough that I think I'm gonna leave it. I just hot glued it straight to the cinder blocks because that actually peels right off of them. And if you peel carefully, it just stays on the letter. So yeah, yay for cinder block gluing. I don't think I can adequately express to you how much I hate what this looks like right now. So here's my desks all facing forward, spread apart from each other. This takes me back to like the ACT and AP testing in high school when you had to like spread apart and all sit facing the same direction, and it felt a little bit like prison. Yeah. Okay, so before they were kind of spread out and like every other windowy, I've lined them up now, which looks much more like some sort of testing, but it means that in theory, I could walk in these aisles, as could the children. I currently have 27 desks. I'm going to need at least 28, so I'll just add one more up here, not back there probably because that's where I have my dots sitting. This is going to be a school year, my friends, of a lot. And I'm grateful that I have you guys to share it with. Thank you for your positive and uplifting thoughts that I know are being sent my way. I really appreciate it. Now I'm going to clean up the messes that I've been making as I've been coming in and out so that my classroom looks semi-clean, because we've got 2 weeks till school starts, but as far as classroom setup goes, I don't really have much else to set up in here, just to like clean up and put away and some copies to make. So I'm gonna go clean my messes. Thanks again so much for being here. I hope that those tips were helpful and that it was somewhat interesting to watch me struggle to carry desks around the classroom. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Please comment if there is something specifically that you'd like to know about my experience with, my thoughts on, my process of. I'd love to know what you guys would like to see, because I'd be more than happy to make videos specifically to what you are interested in. And yeah, I think that is it. I will see you guys next time. See ya. My final teacher tip is to always bring socks with you, because wearing shoes while you're moving desks is no bueno.